So I've noticed that Candace Owens and Kanye West always preface their interviews when they talk about the White Lives Matter shirts with, "We care about Black Lives Mattering," that they stand for the sentiments of BLM, but they don't stand for the global organization of BLM that's hoarded $80 million and that what they see has divided the nation. So if you don't support the organization, then why would you need to wear a White Lives Matter shirt to show that? Because just to clarify, before Candace's documentary, and yes, I have seen that, and yes, I will be giving my commentary on it with a friend of mine who was also in the BLM I organized in 2016. No, I'm not going to go into that in this video, but I will drop those links below if you are so curious to find out me during that time, when I stopped doing BLM. All of that's going to be in the video, so you can look at that. I want to continue with this. But there's been so many other people who have spoke against this Black Lives Matter organization, and I'm talking about on all sides of the angle. Liberal, left, middle, moderate, independent, and conservative Republican. There's been so many people cohesively speaking out against the organization, the global organization of BLM. I'm talking Mike Brown's father, Mike Brown Sr. I'm talking about Ferguson activists. I'm talking about Tamir Rice's mother, Shamar Rice. Also, 10 Black Lives Matter chapters who actually wrote an open letter to the global BLM. I believe it was in 2020. I will link that article below too. But I've spoken up about this and that there's so many other grassroots after that letter came out who spoke up against the global BLM, asking for transparency, asking where the money has went, why hasn't it not been allocated to the youth, to the homeless, to people that really need it, people that really need this money and that can actually help the Black American population. They have called them out for years, but they don't get the attention for some reason. So if Candace Owens and Kanye West were really after the organization and not at all targeting the people that support the sentiments of BLM, then you could have utilized your platform for those voices that have already spoken up. And even if those voices wouldn't talk to you directly, there's tons of footage on YouTube, there's tons of footage on other social media platforms that has these people speaking up against the global organization. It could have been easy as a reshare on your Instagram or reshare on YouTube to amplify the voices that are directly being hit by this, instead of utilizing a shirt that's only going to make us more divided. And I'll get into why that makes us more divided, but I will say most of us, and I'm talking about all the aisles politically, see Black Lives Matter organization as problematic. Personally, for me, I don't really know anyone that's for the global organization. Now, grassroots are a different story. I've talked about that in long form, and again, I'll link that. I'm not trying to talk about this again and again, but there's a difference between the global organization and there's grassroots. And these grassroots are doing real work, are not getting attention. You know why? Because they don't care about attention. They care about actually helping the Black lives in their community and helping them live a better life. Again, you're not going to see that on mainstream media, but it's out there and I know these people. So what could have been said on the back of those shirts that actually would bring a real conversation and target the global BLM actually would have had most of us on your side? So I actually wrote some down. I'm going to read them right now. You could have said Black Lives does matter, but the global organization doesn't think so. I think most of us would actually attest to that. Or you could have just said, listen to Mike Brown's father or listen to Tamir Rice's mother. That would have got our attention. We know those names. That would have got people curious, and then they could have saw their interviews online and could have heard what they've been saying for years. Here's another long title that you could have had on the back of your shirt. Black Lives does matter, so stop giving us murals in the streets and dish out the $80 million to those in need. See, that has a nice rhyme and it's also true. And that's something I would wear. That's something most people would wear because we also want to know where's that money. And we also think that the global BLM has become a business. So you get my whole point on that. So now let's get into my thoughts about the White Lives Matter shirts. I personally think that wearing that was a stupid move. And here's why. Don't go keyboard warrior on me yet. Listen to me, all right? Do White Lives Matter? Absolutely. White lives matter because you are created by God and you're wonderfully made. Black lives matter because we are created by God, we are wonderfully made. Asian lives matter because they are created by God and wonderfully made. That goes for every single person living on this earth. Native American, Middle Eastern, German, it doesn't matter. Every single human being walking on earth matters because you are made by God. And God does not make mistakes. But the problem of that shirt wasn't because people don't believe white lives matter. It's actually the origin on why that slogan is problematic and where it came out from. In 2013, when Trayvon Martin was killed, the Black Lives Matter hashtag was birthed. It was just a hashtag. It wasn't an organization. It wasn't nothing. But soon after that, the White Lives Matter hashtag started to trend alongside it as well against people trying to shut down the conversation that was taking place against police brutality. No, and I'm not saying all white people started to do that when they saw the Black Lives Matter hashtag. I'm not saying that. I'm saying people that do not like Black people were using this hashtag against this conversation. And white lives matter, yes. But when someone's hashtagging Black Lives Matter just to bring focus to a certain issue that was happening or what a collective was feeling at the moment, and then you say white lives matter, it's not the white lives matter that's offensive. It's you basically telling that group to shut up. And also, I'm not sure if Kanye West is aware of this, but in 2016, that hashtag was used a lot, specifically at KKK rallies. And I'll put the pictures up there. I'll link some of those articles below. And as some of you guys know, during my time with BLM, I often got threatened a lot. And I had a real threat. I would say I got threatened a lot with people saying, call me the N-word and all that. But this one man drew a picture of me as a racist caricature and of me being lynched. He drew a picture of me being lynched, and it was an actual picture he grabbed from an interview I did, and in detail was showing me how he was going to lure me into a warehouse and lynch me. And another reason why I don't agree with that shirt is because of what it did afterwards, and why I say that it was not a Christian move. The reason why I even bring up Christianity is because Kanye West and Candace pride themselves on being Christians. And Kanye West even said a few times in his interviews he's done recently that he believes that what he's doing is God's work. And I can say this with confidence, I do not believe what he's doing is God's work. Why do I believe that? It's not because of my own understanding. It's because of the Bible and what God tells us to do and what Jesus tells us and warns us about. So like I mentioned, if they really want to have a real conversation in a way that would actually band people together if you went against one thing we actually all agree upon, and also with that, utilizing your faith in God and realizing that you're not fighting flesh and blood, that we're not fighting with people, we're fighting with principalities and dark high places. And let me read that scripture for you. It says, to put on the whole armor of God, ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take upon you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all to stand. So basically, this whole thing of racism, this whole thing with our racial divide and race relations and this shirt and that shirt, this organization, the reason why I haven't said anything on this is because I've been praying about this. And no, I'm not saying thoughts and prayers. I'm actually been praying, not praying on whether I should do a video, but praying for the nation, because that is what we need to be doing. This whole divide and this whole thing is creating hatred for us to be more divided and to go at each other like this. One, there's no such thing as righteous hatred. So if you hate someone because of the color of their skin, or you hate someone because of their political alignment or anything, that is a sin. It doesn't matter what you're doing, doesn't matter what side you're on. If you are hating and you're participating in that, that's a sin. And that's exactly what the enemy wants, and that's what the devil wants. He doesn't care if it comes with this shirt, if it comes with this hashtag. He wants us to hate each other. He wants our nation to look like what it does right now. And he is laughing in the corner, looking at us like we are fools. So we need to stop this whole game of, oh my gosh, this and this. Stop. That is why this shirt was not godly and not Christian, because all it did was divide us more. All it did was to pin white people against black people that much more. We already have that. And what we need to start doing is not having these generic, candid conversations and no. We need to stop having the same conversations and real conversations about healing the soul of our nation. That's what we need to start doing. And that seems like a lofty thing. And that seems like a very oh, do you think you're Dr. Martin Luther King? No, I do not. But we should actually take a page from Dr. Martin Luther King and John Lewis and everyone back in that era who was able to fight with their heart, with their passion, with their words, and actually change laws and legislation and not have to keep fighting against people. And also this approach with wrath is spoken against in the Bible as well. And God actually calls us to do this as Christians. Proverbs 15:1 says, a soft answer turns away wrath, but harsh words stirs up anger. 2 Timothy 2:23 and 24, have nothing to do with foolish, ignorant controversies. You know that they breed quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but kind to everyone, able to teach, and patiently enduring evil. Galatians 5:22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Self-control. Proverbs 29:22, a man of wrath stirs up strife, and one given to anger causes much transgression. Proverbs 29:11, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. 2 Timothy 2:16, but avoid disrespectful babble, for it will lead people into more and more ungodliness. Proverbs 15:18, a hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quiets contention. So that's my thought about this. That is my TED Talk. And I didn't want to do a video because I didn't want to create another video in this whole reaction sphere that's happening on YouTube. But at least I wanted to give my take to hopefully bring some balance, hopefully to bring something that people can chew on and see that this is deeper than what's at face value. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you really think that's going to help with us building the bridge together. And no, please don't comment, let's stop talking about race, or don't comment let's end racism. Those are utopias that we will never reach. Let's talk about realistic things. What do you really think? Comment below. I'll meet you in the comment section. And as always, peace, love, less shade.